Build, what is up? Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Matt Forte, and we here are, of course, live at the Build studio in New York City. Now, we are on the threshold of a wonderful, wonderful weekend, my friends. I don't know if you noticed, but there is a ton of great television for us to watch over the next 2 days, and if anyone can do it, it's you. So, allow me, if you will, to add one more thing to your must-watch list for this weekend, because this Sunday marks the series premiere for Deception on ABC. Let me tell you about it, all right? When his career is ruined by scandal, superstar magician Cameron Black has only one place to turn to practice his art of deception, influence, and illusion. You guessed it. The FBI. Guys, I got to see this show. It is so much fun. It is the best kind of awesome. I got to see a couple of them. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. Now, I'm excited to talk all about it. And joining me here in just a few short moments, I have stars Jack Cutmore-Scott and Ilfenesh Hadera in the house. How about that, everybody? Come on. Ton of talent. So awesome. So we're going to have a ton of fun, but before we do any of that, before we bring them out, I believe we have a quick clip from the show. So, Luke, do me a favor, man. Let's go ahead and run that clip.
Who is that? Excuse me. This is an active crime scene.
Sir, you cannot be here.
You're Cameron Black. He's Cameron Black.
Yeah, I got that. What are you doing here?
Looking for the proscenium. It's the perfect frame in which to view an illusion. Now, if I'm right, you were standing right around here.
Now, this is gonna sound crazy, but your plane did not explode. It disappeared.
That's great. Get him out of here.
He's Cameron Black.
Right. Sir, you are leaving. Steve, get him out.
No, wait, would you, wait! I made a plane disappear on live TV. I know how they did it.
He did. It was incredible.
I must have watched it 20 times with my boys. I still have no idea how he pulled it off.
Show me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise and welcome Jack Cutmore-Scott, Ilfenesh Hadera, stars of Deception. All right, as I was telling the audience just a moment ago, I got a chance to see some of this. I freaking love this show. It's so much fun. Congratulations, guys. This is wonderful. So great. I really want to get into it. I want to talk about how you got involved. I want to talk about the show, all of that. But before we go any further, just how are you guys doing? How's press going? How are you feeling? How you holding up?
You're our last stop.
Yeah,
This is it.
and the highlight as well.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. No pressure.
No, not at all.
No, it's been good, though, and you couldn't ask for a better partner than Jack.
Oh, likewise. It's actually been very smooth. Everyone's been very, very sweet, very positive about the show, which is it's exciting.
So you guys gotten to do the whole thing together so far? Mostly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
everything.
with the exception of one thing this morning. And
How long ago did you wrap production on this show? You had to ballpark it.
3 weeks?
Yeah, give or take. Yeah.
Fair enough. So the nice little break in there, and then a nice reunion. You get to go around and tell everybody all about it. Well, that's fantastic. The premiere is this Sunday. Very, very exciting times. Everybody's going to be tuning in. Are you guys doing anything special? You have friends coming over? Are you going someplace? Are you going to... What are you thinking?
I'll be hiding under a rock somewhere.
In Hawaii,
Yeah.
somewhere in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Nice rock to hide under.
Yeah, you know, they got some good rocks there. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're going to be in Hawaii. Are you going there?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Since you're the star, are you uncomfortable seeing yourself? Is that the whole idea?
I mean,
because we're not helping if that's the
I mean,
case.
it's a little much. But no, it's I've seen the pilot a couple of times now, and so I'm just like I'm very curious to see what everyone else thinks of it. I kind of know what I think of it at this point.
Fair enough. Ilfenesh, how about you? Are you doing?
Mom lives 8 blocks from me in Harlem, so we're gonna have some friends of mine over for a pizza party.
Oh my God, that is so awesome.
And I've seen the pilot now like 3 times too, so I've gotten used to.
You'll be hiding in another room.
I'll be hiding in another room, just like fingers over eyes.
Just waiting, just listening for gasps, laughs, oohs and ahs, basically.
Gorging myself on patsies.
There's no better way to do it. No. That is the I mean, Hawaii sounds fantastic, but as a New Yorker, that is the way to do it. That is the recommended method. Get some family, get some patsies, and gorge yourself and enjoy. So this can be a nerve-wracking time. You guys put a lot of time and effort into it. It gets a little scary because once it's premiered, it doesn't belong to you anymore. It belongs to the world, belongs to the fans and the public and all that stuff. How are you feeling leading up to that? I know you just said you're going to be hiding behind your fingers, you're hiding behind your whatever, but like
under a rock behind her.
Under a rock.
I mean, yeah, you're exactly right. It's strange to relinquish control of something, you know, and have the entire world kind of judge it and watch it. But it's exciting because, you know, there's only so much. We've only seen the first episode ourselves, so we're going to be watching along with everyone else. And yeah, just curious to see how it goes down. We think it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to shoot. So now it's just...
Yeah, if there's an ounce of what was going on behind the scenes, you know, on screen here, then I think we're going to be all right. We had so much fun.
What can you give me? I'm going to do that thing, that annoying thing, and ask for a specific example. What's a fun particular day that you remember, or a moment that you recall? You know, I know you guys had a lot of illusionists and magicians consulting and like guiding you. Were there tricks on set to keep the mood light? Like, what was it like working on this show?
Yeah, I mean, I've got one just because it's the one that comes immediately to mind. Kind of on that note. In episode 2, we were working with a whole new crew from the pilot. We had, you know, everyone was there and didn't really know what to expect. And that was when you pitch the show to people and you're like, you know, magician starts working with the FBI. They're like, okay. I mean,
Like,
sure.
how does that happen? How does that work in what world? Right?
And also, and when we were on set and we were setting up these tricks, you know, and there was this one trick in particular I'm thinking of in episode 2 where it's kind of an elaborate setup. I end up kind of going through a hospital gurney and vanishing and being replaced by a mannequin and all this kind of stuff. And you could see the crew thinking, well, this is not going to work. Like, we're going to get the VFX guy in here. Like, we're going to have to shoot this, cut it all. Yeah, we'll fix it later. And we did it, and it worked on the sort of first take. And you saw everyone just be like, okay, cool. This is what we're doing. This is fun. You know, this is kind of cool. It's different. It's exciting, and that was it was nice to see them respond.
And those guys, I mean, these guys who have been working on different television sets and movie sets for years, you kind of feel like they've seen it all. So to have them be kind of blown away by that and supporters of it is like a nice bit of encouragement, I think, for all of us.
That's interesting. Did you guys, was anybody, so was the entire crew like a traditional crew? Because, you know, with all the illusions and the tricks that you guys will fold into throughout it, I imagine some guys from the crew had to have some experience making these look good on camera before, right?
Well, I was going to say, we had a magic department, which you don't get on most shows, which is a lot of fun. Yeah, we had Francis Minotti and David Kwong, who are two amazing magicians who consulted on the show. Francis was there every single day, helping with the large-scale illusions and deceptions, but also helping with sort of the sleight of hand, all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, we were lucky with the crew. They really caught on immediately as to, you know, what we were trying to achieve. You know, got the tone of the show, got the rhythm of the show, and it was pretty fun. I mean, yeah, from the get-go.
Well, it's so funny you describe it the way of like when you give them the pitch of like, well, it's a magician with the FBI. You're right. There's two ways people react. It's either I don't know about that, or it's like me. I was like, I'm all in. Let's do this. This sounds amazing. I can't wait to see how this works out. So the pilot does have its work cut out for it in terms of getting, and it opens super strong and in a very brave way. I want to talk about that in detail, but first. How did this all come about? How did you guys get involved? How did you become to be part of Deception? Let's start with that.
I mean, for me, kind of, you know, pilot season madness had just begun, and I think the script for Deception came in the first few days of appointments, and I was already kind of dreading it because it's kind of a hellish time for actors and agents and everybody in the world. And I got this script, and I started flipping through it and was immediately drawn into it, like page turner. It wasn't homework at all. It was kind of like, what happens next? And so many questions about where the show could go. You know, as an actor, when you start dreaming about where things are going to take you after you've only just read a script that you haven't even auditioned for, you're like imagining that you're in this role already. It's a very scary place to be because you've invested in something that, you know, might never be yours. And then got on the phone with Chris Fedak, who created our show, and he was so wonderful about kind of describing the journey of the 13 episodes and where it would go and what would be in store for us in terms of, you know, the different elements that magic would parts that magic would play in the show, the espionage and the magic tricks, and I mean everything about it, and then the whole FBI world of it. So the excitement was there pretty early on.
Sure. And Jack, how about you, man?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I auditioned. That was I got the script through, and it was a little daunting because there was a small magic trick in the audition that you know, didn't come with instructions. So I kind of had to, you know, I made something that approximated the trick, and you know, kind of cheated a little bit, and subsequently learned how to do it for real. You know, once we got the pilot up and running. But it's just fun. I mean, the character Cameron Black is he's something. He's been in show business his entire life. He's this huge personality, and it's a lot of fun to kind of put yourself into those shoes and think, you know, what it would have been like to live in the spotlight like you know he has done his entire life. And I was like, it sounds like a fun challenge. Not to mention all the card stuff. You know?
Well, that was the other thing too. That so I watched the episode and I'm like, all right, let me start doing some external research here and looking into this. And I was legit shocked. I thought for sure you're a phenomenal actor is the end of this, because you didn't do any magic before this show, really. Like you learned it all through these consultants. You learned a lot of it, the sleight of hand, which you've gotten incredible at, apparently. I saw you doing a couple of things with coins and stuff and other interviews and all that stuff. You can't talk about this show without talking about the preparation and the research that you guys had to go through and do. Ilfenesh, forgive me, I don't believe I've ever seen you as an FBI agent before.
This was a first for me as well, and I was very lucky to have the FBI version of Francis and David Kwong on my side. I didn't just go into this and kind of create Kay in the FBI world. I had help.
What a phenomenal experience. So what does that look like? What is that help? Do you go to like a class on a weekend? Are they hanging out with you on set?
No,
What's it look like?
Forums, ask anything you want. No, we had a woman who'd been with the FBI for 30 years. She was primarily here in the New York office, and we took a tour of that office and kind of, you know of the FBI, but just to see the inner workings of it's a world that I think most people don't really have an understanding of. It's just this. It's the Federal Bureau of Investigation. But, we talked to some guys who were in the narcotics department who had helped bring in El Chapo, which is, their stories are just insane. And every time we were on set and we had a big action sequence, she was there to keep things real for me, So she helped with everything from, how to clear a room properly, how to make an arrest, and then just answered questions about what it was like to be a woman in the FBI.
That's a pretty fantastic journey that you get to go on. You get to be a part of this amazing show. You get to learn all this incredible stuff. I'm curious, what were the FBI experts and agents' reactions when you told them the pitch? What side of the fence were they on? Where they were like, that's interesting with the magician. Like, what did they think of introducing this into their world?
Honestly, they were really, really excited about it. And they loved, I think more than anything else, that we were taking the time to come and tour the FBI and see what their lives were like. I think a lot of shows just kind of do it on their own. They've seen it before, so they think they know what it's like to be FBI or CIA or police. But it sounds like they'd have very few visits from other casts and were kind of like felt a little bit, snubbed by them. They want to portray us and our lives and what it's like, but they can't take the time to
do the research.
To do the research a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were on board. I think we had them there. But yeah, they just wanted to answer questions. I think they're a group of people that don't often feel free to just chat about their work.
Yeah.
So they like relish the opportunity to like tell you the El Chapo stories.
Sure.
They're
Yeah,
like,
exactly. These guys were. They were. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. All right, Jack, let's get into the story you've had to tell a million times at this point, I'm sure, but I really want to hear it, and I'm going to see if I can find some new stuff in there. How did you learn all of this and get so good so fast?
That's very, very kind of you to phrase the question that way. I have these two amazing people to thank, David Kwong and Francis Minotti, who sort of from the word go, as soon as I was cast, I think the day after I was cast, David Kwong showed up at my house and was like, right, here's a pack of cards, let's go. And I've driven everyone crazy since then, practicing tricks and just trying to get to a place where I was more familiar with the physicality of doing what Cameron did every day as much as anything else. Because let's be honest, it's TV magic, so I get a few takes. I can mess it up a couple of times, and that's okay. And so the focus is really on getting into the mindset of a magician, getting into thinking the way they think, and manipulating cards and manipulating coins or whatever it is in the way that they would, and that's really just practice. That's just a lot of time. And It's, you know, it's fun. It is fun. It's incredibly frustrating, but every now and then it works. And normally I don't know why it worked, but it's pretty thrilling when it does.
In your research of getting into the mindset, did you get deep into? I was always fascinated by like the magician subculture that's at like the Magic Castle in Hollywood and all these things that are like kind of secretive. That you think with all the things the internet has ruined, somehow magic and magicians have preserved the sanctity of this craft. Yes, there's videos of some people showing simple things and all that, but in large part, I would have expected so much more of that world to have been exposed or vanished by this point.
Must be the magician mafia behind that.
Yeah, there's a whole underworld.
The whole world. How deep into that world did you get? How much did you learn about that?
I mean, the fun and magic of magic is that you suspend your disbelief. I don't think anyone's sitting around, you know, thinking, "Wow, he has magic powers," and you know, like, "Where's his wand?" kind of thing. It's that we enjoy being surprised. We enjoy being fooled and made to question, you know, how something is done. We did a premiere at the Magic Castle on Tuesday in LA, which was really fun because there's always a little thing when you do a show about a specific community, you know, or specifically a community that is as secretive as this one. It's a little worrying, you know. You don't want to upset anyone. You don't want to make them feel like we are, you know, exposing anything that they wouldn't want exposed. Or
there's a delicate balance the show plays with because
Yeah.
the fun is letting everybody in, but not letting them all the way.
Not
in.
that,
And
yeah,
exactly.
you got to retain a little mystery, and it was really gratifying to see the way they responded. They loved the show. They loved what we were doing. Essentially, the basic rule of thumb is that what David and Francis play by is if a trick's been around for 100+ years, then we're kind of okay with, you know, showing how that's done.
There's not anybody around anymore that's going to
Yeah,
give you any
no
grief.
one's gonna get too
Everybody's
upset.
died. It's 100
Public
years
domain, you
later.
can do whatever you want.
Well,
it's
yeah,
fine.
as you say, I mean, there are, you know, all it takes is a quick YouTube search. If you were actually curious to know how it's done, the answers are out there. And if David or Francis created it themselves, then they're happy to reveal those secrets. But if they're secrets that don't belong to them, or, you know, a magician working today is relying on for his bread and butter, then we won't reveal those. We'll keep those under wraps.
How inside they let you? You don't have to tell me anything, obviously, but they let you into the world, like see an illusion or like make an illusion or anything like that.
I mean, to a great extent, we had to know, a lot of how what we were doing works. There's definitely a line. Francis, I think Francis' favorite thing to do is to show me a trick, show me how it works, and, you know, get me practicing it, and then be like, oh yeah, and then there's also this,
And he's got, like,
and then
a
doesn't tell
totally
me a damn
advanced
thing. Yeah, it's just like, yeah.
We have to. I'm running out of time here. I got to turn it over to the audience for questions in a second. But not to harp on this, but you're literally holding a giant floating deck of cards, so I don't feel bad asking about card tricks.
Mm-hmm.
Is there one trick in particular that you love to do? Is there one that was really hard for you to learn? Do you always have a deck of cards on you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Literally always.
Yeah, it's.
Deck right now?
I do. Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Do you? All right, finish answering the question, but then it would be awesome if we could do a magic trick. Is that possible?
Sure.
Oh boy!
okay.
There's literal gasps, oohs, and ahs in the audience.
Okay.
All right, so is there one in particular that was like really like your hurdle, like it was the fire from Mount Olympus? That is this trick. I figured it out. I've got it. Like.
I think it's the hardest part is making it look good. I'll be honest. You sort of the theory. Once you got the theory there, that's literally just one part of the puzzle, and then to package it and make it look in the way that these guys make it look effortless and magical is. That's always been my hurdle kind of every single time because I don't feel as relaxed and comfortable as someone who's been doing this for his entire life.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
You know.
Ilfenesh, do you get into any magic? Do you get to mess around with it? I know it's not your character, at least in the episode I've
No,
seen.
it's not. Thankfully, I do not envy Jack and the time it takes to perfect these illusions, these tricks of his. But we had an episode towards the end where I think I was tasked with something very simple. Jack tries to make me feel better by saying it was a complex.
Wasn't simple. Yeah.
I don't know. It took me about 15 takes. A few people almost lost eyes. It was like, seriously, it was.
They weren't important people.
No,
It's fine. Yeah.
But no, they kept my magic to a minimum on the show.
In the grand scheme of things, 15 takes isn't that bad.
I mean, it could have been
Not at all.
a little worse, but not too much worse. I think everybody was like, was it the last episode? Yeah. It was the last episode.
Last episode.
I think people were becoming a little tired for lack of a better word.
Well, they're not doing you any favors. It's the last shoot. It's the last scene of the last episode.
No pressure, get it right.
Great,
We
you gotta
lose
do
the
it again.
location in 3 hours. Like, take your time.
I think, well, then even more so, all of those things, all those external forces against you, it sounds like you did a damn good job.
She did.
I got
I'm
it.
excited to see that. That's wonderful. All right. Well, you teased it. You got to make good on it now. You think we could do a trick for the crowd? Is that possible?
Sure. Yeah, I can do a quick
Let's
one.
do it. All right. Do I have to help in any way? Do we need anybody from the audience? What do you got
Yeah,
from
what
here?
I'll do, I'll use a few people from the audience. You know what?
Yeah.
Matt, let's start with you.
Okay.
Okay. Can I give you this?
Yes.
Okay, so essentially all I want you to do.
All he wants me to do.
Tell me to stop at any point.
I'm going to tell him to stop at any point. Here we go. All right, ready? Stop.
Right there?
Yeah, right there. That's mine now. Okay. Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Back on that.
Just right on top?
Yeah, right.
Okay,
I'm
bam.
going to use a few other people.
All right, he's going to some other people in the crowd. For the record, I'm repeating everything he's saying. I know you guys can hear him here, but for those of you tuning in live, you're welcome. I'm just letting you know what he's saying. All right, so here we go.
Let's go this way.
He's going to head this way. He's tossed the deck into the crowd.
I'll use it.
There we go.
If you could just
Sorry,
no,
I thought it was helping.
it'll help this way. It'll be easier. Just all I want you to do is just peek at a card, any card anywhere in the deck. Just pick one and peek at it. Got it? Okay. You want to throw the deck over to this lady over here, maybe? Would you pick one? Do the same thing. Anywhere in the deck, just peek in. Yep. Put it back in. Fantastic. Thank you. You want to throw it to the back row? Someone in the back row. Got one? Okay, chuck it back up here, would you? Well, that's all right.
It was bound to happen.
You had one job. Okay.
Have we ruined the trick?
No, it's fine. Okay, so now all we're going to do is I'm going to try and figure out.
And now you see why television is a beautiful place for
What did you say? Was it 15 takes you had?
Yeah, just-
Go.
I'm sorry, Jack. I forgot to
just
tell
the
you at
one.
the start of this, we are live. I forgot to
No, that's
mention
great.
that.
That's totally great. I'll collect up some of them. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right.
And for the record, I don't blame the audience. I
It's
blame
gonna
the
be fun.
maker of the tie around the
Yeah,
card.
no, that's
You
true.
know,
That's-
for all you know, this gentleman in the back is a stooge, and that was supposed to happen. Maybe this was a big distraction.
Yeah, he's actually my father,
Deception.
so, yeah. Deception.
That's the name of the show.
I'm just saying. I am just
We're
saying.
living deception, guys.
Okay, well now I'm gonna name and shame. So if you picked a card, would you mind just standing up for me?
Do I count?
You count.
Okay.
Okay, great. If you wouldn't mind just closing your eyes just for 1 second, the four of you. Okay. Ace of Diamonds. Seven of Hearts. And the King of Spades. If you and you. Two of Clubs. If you heard your card, could you just sit down for me?
And you all laughed.
Guys,
That's
seriously,
everyone?
like, mine's
I got everyone?
100%. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Deception. Wow. How the hell long did it take you to learn that one?
Months.
Wow. Unbelievable. Fantastic. That was amazing. Thank you so much for that. All right, Ilfenesh, what do you got? That was wonderful. Guys, thank you so much. As I said, we have questions in the room. I'm sure we have tons of questions in the room now. Where's the microphone? We're going to start with our first one. Seems to be right over here.
Hello.
Hi.
I did have a question, but now I changed my question. I wanted to know, has there ever been an embarrassing moment when you tried to do a trick like this? Other than the
What
cards
just
falling
happened?
everywhere.
Other than literally everything
Other
that
than
just
what
happened.
just happened, another embarrassing moment.
Yes, plenty. Well, we had one this morning too.
We had one on live television this
Yeah, it was good. It's timing often has been, especially when it comes to interviews and live TV, the magic it's not always, it doesn't always go exactly to plan, as we saw, and can often be, if time is cut short, that's kind of a fun extra challenge, because then you've got to kind of figure out how to change the trick to fit in with the, what was it, 25 seconds?
25 seconds, yeah.
Yeah, we kind of came back from commercial break.
Where you hear
this
someone
morning.
going 8, 7, 6, no pressure.
So yeah, there have been a few. Luckily, most of them have been, you know, on set, so I get to clean up and do that again. Yeah, it's there's definitely always that risk of a little bit of a.
Is the countdown timer, is that what happened this morning? Because you don't think I'm going to let you gloss over that.
It wasn't about the time, though. Jack had it. It was a missing prop, and it was not on his end, to be very fair, I don't think.
It was just a fun, you know, yeah.
Not a big deal. No, it's just these things happen. All right, fair enough. We have time for a few more questions. The next one, I believe, is right here in front of us. All right, go for it. Let's see.
When you decide to be an actor, have you imagined it to work with Michael Caine, Samuel Jackson, like in Kingsman?
No, I never imagined. Yeah, it's been really exciting. I think the most fun part of the job is working with cool, interesting people like this lady right here. Every job,
He's comparing me to Sam Jackson right now, and I'll take
and
it.
Michael
very
Caine.
favorable.
And Michael.
Yeah, exactly.
But Sam is just so cool.
He is very cool.
Well, to speak of working with cool people, I would be remiss not to bring up the fact that my life goal is to at one point just say hi to The Rock, and you got to work with him on Baywatch.
I did.
And you seem to be buddies with him at this point.
He's an easy guy to befriend.
I would
He's
imagine.
lovely,
I would
wonderful.
imagine. What was any fun moment? What was that experience like other than awesome?
I mean, we were on the beach every day for 3 months. Like, you know, there was nothing to complain about. Oh God, the weather's too beautiful. The water's too warm, right? And we just, I mean, it was really a wonderful cast. Dwayne is so cool. You know, people ask if he is as wonderful as he seems, and the answer is every time yes. So yeah, he's the best. You can call him a friend too through me. I feel like he'd be okay with that. Has he been on a build yet?
He hasn't been yet. He's one of my white whales.
Got to get him on.
Dwayne, he's up there. He's one of them. Yeah, we'd love to get him in here. Well, you should put in a good word. Tell him you had a good
Perhaps
time.
I will.
You know,
I have his
lie to him.
number.
Oh wow.
I'm having palpitations. All right, we've got time for one more. I believe it's going to come right here from the gentleman with the microphone.
Hey, how are you? I was wondering how, I know the show filmed in New York, how long was the shoot for the season? And now that it's over, do you still carry some of the character with you? I know you're still doing press, but do you still have that?
We started in early September, and we just wrapped 3 weeks ago. So I feel like we've been like every season. It was sweltering hot when we began, and we ended in a snow flurry. I think probably, well, I won't speak for you, but you've got to carry a bit more of Cameron with you than I do of Kay, because you've got the magic always to maintain. I can kind of slip back into my regular self now, especially I live here, I'm from here. It's kind of like when a show is over, you after press feel like it never happened. It's business as usual, and I'm back into my routine, and I wake up and I make my coffee and my apartment and go to my gym and all that.
And they took your gun and badge away.
And they took my gun and my badge away, so I've got nothing to fiddle with.
What are you gonna do, right? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, pretty much exactly what Ilfenesh said. The biggest part of Cameron I carry with me is a deck of cards, and that's it's helpful to try and stay in a little bit in that mindset, especially for press and especially for doing all the stuff that I'm not that familiar with. So it's useful to kind of keep his voice a little bit at the back of my head. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Those were fantastic questions. Thank you so much. I'm getting the signal. We got to wrap things up. Unfortunately, I could do this with you all day. But one, thank you so much for coming in and making us the last stop. I really appreciate that. I hope you had a great time with us.
Really great time.
Awesome. I had a ton of fun with you guys. I want to remind everybody everywhere, this show, it is so much fun. Do not miss it. It's March 11th, ABC, 10 p.m. Eastern. Deception premieres this weekend. Guys, please, one more time, make some noise for our guests here. Thanks for noise, Jack Cutmore-Scott and Ilfenesh Hadera. Guys, thank you.